Well, hello there. It's amazing when it's hot outside how cooling wearing this robe is. You'd think it wouldn't be, but it is. So, this is a topic I actually know quite a lot about, and I love doing videos about things that you won't find on YouTube. You just won't. By the way, before starting this video, it was really hot outside. I was outside washing the vehicle, and I came in, and I was standing in front of the window unit air conditioner over there, and I forgot I had a mousetrap on the floor. I walked forward, and I snapped my big left toe in the mousetrap. That was quite a sight to behold. You know, something right out of the Three Stooges. I thought you would appreciate that one. You know, the mousetrap firmly clenched over top of my toe. It didn't hurt too much. I do have a little red spot on my toe, but this is about the secret of the priests. And if you think I'm merely talking about any religion or religions, I am not. I think actually everybody, and out of 8,500 or so videos that I've actually posted up over countless years, I mean it seriously, that this is a video really everybody should watch. And I don't make, self-important statements like that, but it's a topic everybody really should be very familiar with because it's so very important. An MIT study came out recently about legalese, and we're going to talk about the language of the priests and the idea of power and control. By the way, I didn't know it was on YouTube. I've actually got the DVD myself. It's called Luther. It's made in 2003. It stars Ralph Fiennes, or I forget the guy's name. I've probably seen the movie maybe 10 times. It's about the establishment of the Lutheran religion. And the movie was paid for, I think, by the Lutheran Church. They actually leave out some of the really gritty, shall we say, dirty details of Martin Luther. But that's not the point of this, and this video is not about that movie. But it is on YouTube, the entire movie. I just looked like 20 minutes ago. It's out there for you to watch. I'd like to do a couple quotes from the movie and like to get into the secrets of the priests and what's really going on. And this regards academia, all religions, and also to law. But there's actually other arenas of this. And Martin Luther was talking about just God and man. No intercession between there, you know, this priestly class which would allow for interpretation. I've actually dealt with this. I can actually say I'm an expert on this language. Not legalese. I never wanted to get into, knowing anything about law, really. I know a lot more than a lot of people do, but I never wanted to know about it. But I've taken these people and I've, taken them apart like a cracker regarding so-called original Buddhism, the original Pythagoreanism. The same is true of the church. Now, everybody has access to, say you're a Christian, I don't care what religion you're into, you have access to the Bible, you could download it. Nobody has time to look into the original Greek. Of course, a few videos ago, a couple weeks ago, I was talking about this. Everybody wanted me to translate 7 passages from another YouTuber, the Ammon guy, and I did. I don't like doing free translations, however, all the ones that I do are free, and it takes an enormous amount of time. And that was that, but to actually get an interpretation of what you're actually reading, we rely upon these translations, which actually have to pass through this priestly class. Much more so in the times of Martin Luther and the late 1400s, early mid 1500s. Martin Luther, of course, struggled to reclaim the Bible for the common man of Germany and wrench it out of the hands of the Roman Catholic Church. And of course, the Roman Catholic Church, made it their mission to take him down both physically and figuratively. Of course, the Catholic Church resisted vigorously. There's a point in the movie Like I said, I think I've seen it 10 times. It's a movie really everybody should watch. Whether you have any interest in Christianity or Catholicism, I don't care. I myself absolutely have no interest in it whatsoever. But it's something that's actually repeated in academia and relativity and quantum, and also too in legalese. And I make a bold statement here. It's a quote from a study done by Massachusetts Institute of Technology here very quickly. And he's actually arguing with one of the chief head guys of the Roman Catholic Church, and he says, you know, he's arguing against Martin Luther to recant his writings and his proclamations, which caused a huge kerfuffle and an uproar in Germany at the time. And he said the Pope interprets Scripture, and Martin Luther replies. He said he may interpret it, but he's not above it. And you know, the whole thing goes back and forth, and of course Martin Luther is an expert in argumentation, and he keeps referencing the Bible over that of the Catholic Church. And I actually encountered the same thing amongst these so-called Buddhists, is that they'll actually quote teacher A, teacher B, guru A, guru B. It's like, you know, that's all well and fine, but I'm only interested in what the original actually has to say. And I've been doing that for decades, and I always win, and that's the reason why these people can't stand me, is because I always, you know, I snap them like a cracker, because I actually know what the original says, not only the Pali, but everything is hyper-rational, hyper-logical, and, you know, they can't argue with me, because all they can do is quote dogma and commentary, but dogma and commentary by anybody that has more than 5 brain cells is way down here. The actual original is way up here. You can't argue, you know, the supersession of dogma and commentary over that of actual doctrine. And the chief priest from the Roman Catholic Church says, "I refuse to argue with that monk." He storms off, referring to Martin Luther. When they actually bring him up, where they're basically trying to crucify Martin Luther, you know, they ask him, are you going to recant what you said, or are you not going to recant? You know, they're basically, you know, bringing his life, you know, within very short glimpse of, you know, falling off a cliff, literally, where they actually tried to try him, and they did try him in Germany rather than send him off, and that's because he was actually so popular in Germany. At the very end, he says, "I will not recant." He said, "Let my works be proven wrong by Scripture, and then if you can do that," which of course is impossible, and the Roman Catholic Church and all the people trying to destroy Martin Luther knew it was impossible. He says, "If you can prove it wrong by Scripture, then I will throw my works into the fires, and I will recant." But it's impossible. That's the one thing that actually saved Martin Luther, is he actually stood, you know, behind the actual teachings. And what he was trying to do is cut out the priestly class, who it's all about money, it's all about power. But the same thing exists in the legalese system, and the same thing exists, and I've been debating this now for decades as well, this quantum garbage. And I don't care what anybody thinks of me one way or another, but the fat, bald, tattooed guy wearing a robe in this video that you're watching right now actually does know what the word quantum means, how it's used, why it's used, and the type of convoluted language that is used to prop up and keep people in money and power is no different than any religion, no different than the Roman Catholic Church. Here is from MIT study. This came out a few days ago. If you want to know the link, let me know. MIT study explains why laws are written in an they're not incomprehensible to me, but the common person they are. They had to hire a lawyer to read this thing to see what it actually says. I mean, it's in English. Quite a bit of it's in Latin. You know, I could read it. You know, I got a college degree, but it's written in legalese. Anyway, MIT study explains that these laws are purposely written in an incomprehensible style. The convoluted legalese used in the language, the legal documents, conveys a special sense of authority, and even non-lawyers have to learn how to wield it. This is a direct quote from this article of a long-time study about legalese. The so-called magic spell hypothesis is what they're calling it, and it's the same magic spell hypothesis used by the Catholic Church, used by academia, on and on and on, and it's the exact same thing. You know, you got the legalese here, and you got the religious garbage here, and over here you have academia of quantum and relativity over here. They have this special magic language, and they determined to call this magic spell hypothesis. But this is in reference to legalese. Just as magic spells, this is from the article, are written with a distinctive style that sets them apart from everyday language, the convoluted style of legal language appears to signal a special kind of authority, the researchers say. Well, that's exactly what it is. You have the priests of law, you have the priests of quantum, the priests of relativity, the priests of any and all religion. All of these entities, by the way, definitionally, are demonic. They go against natural order and common sense. If you think natural order is against common sense or purposefully tries to cover itself up, then you've either been brainwashed and or you're unintelligent, but that's not how natural order works. The church, and nobody likes a lawyer that I know of other than lawyers. I know some good lawyers. I'm not saying they're all evil or bad, but these are institutions that designed a special lexicon to where, to get access to it, like an entry, like there's a door fee to get in. You have to pay the door fee to these demonic entities that control your access to these things. They purposefully cover it up, convolute it, and destroy it. I've been translating several languages, I know 7 languages, for many, many, many years. These priestly class entities, I tell you with 1,000% certainty, they purposefully cover up and trash the truth, and you have to pay them. You have to, go to the church, you drop a couple coins of tithing, and they still won't let you see the truth. The people that have the time or the intellectual capacitance to learn some of these ancient dead languages, like Pali, for example, or learn ancient Greek, Koine Greek, or Latin, essentially non-existent. People just don't have time for that. These entities are a great evil. Academia is a great evil. Law, a lot of people's lives have been destroyed by the titanic amount of Latin and legalese that is heaped upon things that should be simple, but they're purposefully convoluted so that you have to pay the gateway entrance fee. One of the things they talk about is peer review. You could actually state fact after fact after fact, logic, 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 citation, citation, citation. And these evil entities, and I've run into an enormous amount of, where's your peer review? A peer review is one dog sniffing another dog's dirty bottom, and that dog is sniffing another dog's filthy rear, and that dog is sniffing another. It's just a circle of one fool agreeing with another fool's fool. I agree with your foolishness. Does your foolishness agree? Yes, we all believe in the same foolishness. This is what they actually mean by peer review. There are these circles of control that are used by these evil entities. By the way, that movie, whether you care about religion or not, it actually gives you an insight into how to defeat them. Martin Luther actually, of course there are several translations of the Bible, except none of them were popularized or printed, of the New Testament into German. He actually brought it to the forefront, and what that did is it completely severed the Roman Catholic Church and the Latin Vulgate from the common people of being able to read the Bible in their own tongue. It severed it. And that's the last thing the Roman Catholic Church wanted. Like, lose power? Lose money of all these simpletons dropping coins in the box for indulgences? If you drop a coin, you could spring Grandma and Grandpa from the burning fires of Hades. All you have to do is drop. They'll give you they actually did that, by the way. You should go read about that. Or just watch the movie, actually, if you don't have the time for that. This is the reason why Latin, I took several years of Latin. My Latin is pretty rusty. It's not even taught in schools anymore. It's all a power play. It's a creation of a power node to generate an intermediary between yourself and the truth. The truth, life is short and miserable for most people. There should not be an intermediary where you actually have to suffer and pay between yourself and the truth. Natural order does not want that. But the world, unfortunately, by and large, is quite evil, and it's always looking for a way. Kind of like somebody knows where a bunch of cheap lumber is, for example. You need it to warm your house. Instead of them telling you where it's, oh, Bob down the street here, a few blocks, I can give you his address. He's got a bunch of lumber really cheap. No, you pay me X amount of money, and then I'll tell you where it's at, or I'll go get it for you. Humanity, unfortunately, throughout a lot of history, has done this, and it continues to do this. These rites and rituals to pay to have access to that which human beings fundamentally desire and need. Truth and ultimate truths. We have priests of law, like I said, priests of quantum, priests of religion, priests of medicine. Very, very, very evil, very, very grotty and nasty thing. These are all demons. I hate to say it, but they are. They're all demons. To break this spell, you have to know this priestly language and the idiocy that is attached. This reminds me, I never, ever liked those movies, but I got really sick a few years ago and I watched the Harry Potter series. They're all, they've got all these magic words while they're waving their wand, and you think the real magic behind it is the stupefaction of the unintelligent. Oh my God, this is the magic words. This is really no fundamentally different than that. Quantum uses this. I've got a list of lexicon. It's really long. They'll actually talk about the double slit experiment and entanglement and supposition and talk about electrons and photons and wave particle duality. Their favorite thing is the word quantum. And quantum is a reference to a measure, and of course there's no such thing in nature you could point to and call it quantum, because you can't point to a mile, an inch, a gram, a meter. These are agreed upon standards of measure. Measure's not a thing. It's agreed upon standard of discussion. That's what das Lichtwand is a reference to, and I've got all the citations and references for that if you want it. A quantum is the smallest discrete unit of energy phenomena. For example, das Lichtwand, a quantum of light. It is agreed upon measure, but a measure is not a thing. There is absolutely nothing in nature. I know the whole history behind the use of the word quantum, when it came about, why it was popularized. They created every priestly class. In this case, it is of quantum and relativity, or QR, actually. Quantum mechanics, they're all one thing now. They've merged into one thing. They've created this priestly life. Well, if you pay me enough money, I can interpret this for you. What we have here is a quantum entanglement phenomena. If you pay me X number of money over the next few years, we can research this quantum phenomenon. We can discover the quantum particle that is causing the quantum juxtaposition of the quantum phenomena that you're currently looking at. Nature doesn't work that way. It's a violation of natural order. It breaks the law of I forget what it is now, simplicity. It escapes me. It's right on the tip of my brain, but it's the principle of absolute simplicity. It's convoluted or complicated. It can't be part of natural order or natural law. Excuse me, I know what it is. I'll think about it here in a few seconds, but this is what happens when you think about 10 things at once. But this is just a priestly class. They have created a language of purposeful convolution so that they have created an intermediary between yourself and whether it be facts, knowledge, or wisdom over here. It's too complicated for you to understand. What I am is a priest of academia, or a priest of quantum, or a priest of because there are 10 zillion people every day that will pick up a legal paper. They have like a 4-year degree or postgraduate degree. It's like, it is wonderful. I know 6 languages, but I'm going to need to pay a lawyer. This is true. This is not humor. I need to pay a lawyer to go over this legal paperwork for me to tell me what it actually says. Every lawyer will tell you that's the truth. I got a 4-year degree. I know 6 languages, but I need to pay a lawyer to tell me what this thing actually says. I'm being served with some legal papers here. Isn't that horrible? That is exactly what the Roman Catholic Church, they tried to destroy, as for example, Martin Luther, both physically and, both literally and figuratively. They tried to destroy him because he was trying to sever the tie between the German people and access to the divine. Yeah, the Latin Vulgate. Like, you need a priest to interpret this for you. You do is you show up every Sunday and drop a coin in the pot there, and somebody with the intellectual prowess to tell you what this important passage in the Bible means, because you're not smart enough to read it yourself. You know, do you know Latin? No, I don't. Well, that's why you need me. They were opposed to his translation and popularization, dissemination of the Bible translated in the common German tongue. By the way, it's a great movie to watch. I know I've said this before in this video. Everybody should actually see the Luther movie. There's something I wanted to tack on to the end of this and actually sum it up. And I have no interest in religions because religions are secularized or neutered metaphysics. That here's a universal fact about a universal truth. A little bit of irony there. If it has a beginning in time, it can't be truth. If it has a beginning in place, it can't be truth. If it's not a fundamental universal, it can't be an ultimate truth. A universal truth is also, too, a fundamental ultimate truth. In other words, from the galaxy a million light years over that way to the galaxy with the living creatures on the other galaxy a million billion light years in that other. If it is not universal, has no beginning in time, no beginning in place, it can't be an ultimate truth. All religions, ours is the ultimate truth. It's like, well, you had a beginning in time. Guru Bada Bing started teaching this blatherskite, Jabberwocky poppycock, you know, in 200 AD, or 0 AD, or CE, say Common Era. Yeah, let's just use the word Common Era. Nobody likes BC or AD anymore. I do, but BCE or CE, I don't care. Well, what about the people that came before? Well, they were all doomed. they're all in purgatory. In other words, until Guru Bada Bing, Jabberwocky Poppycock came along and laid down the ultimate truth, everybody was doomed. That's right. That's right. You know, those people, you know, tough luck for them. It's too bad that they were born before the great guru, the great spaghetti monster in the skies, only begotten son, you know, came down. Doesn't anybody realize the impossible undeniability of that fact? It has a beginning and place and time. It can't be universal truth, but they all tell you that their teachings are universal truth. Well, it's totally impossible. It's irrational. It's illogical, it's laughable, it's senseless. I wanted to actually tack that onto the end of this video, but everybody should realize, and this isn't taught in high school or college, this isn't taught in seminary, it's not taught anywhere, that this priestly class always generated, especially in religions, but also too in academia. Did you think that these, well, I have a PhD in theoretical physics and quantum mechanics, you know, where's your peer review of what you said? It's like, you know, what is blatantly obvious. It follows, there we go, Occam's razor. It follows Occam's razor. It's 100% undeniable. It explains all observed phenomena. It is just demonstrably true. It can't be denied. You know, I don't have to have a peer review to something that even a child would say, yeah, that makes sense. That makes it really simple. Everything in nature is pressure mediation. As I've humorously said before, Mother Nature is the hairy armpit chick with no calculator, and everything works off of pressure mediation. Everything's either force and hello, I'm going to edit that out. Everything is either force and motion or inertia and acceleration. Magnetism is a dielectric field. There's the unification of the two things. Electricity is a hybrid of dielectricity and magnetism. Gravity is an anti-field, specifically an acceleration towards counter space, or lowest pressure mediation between phenomena and fields. These people, especially, I'm very concerned about the academicians. These people have been debating for decades. Nothing they say the center holds. The center doesn't hold. Everything they say is illogical, irrational. And when you corner them, and I've cornered them many, many thousands of times, where's your peer review? We need a peer review. This basically means you've defeated them in debate. They have nothing intelligent to say, no intelligent rebuttal. Nothing. It's like in the movie where you know, Martin Luther's you know, having an intellectual you know, with the Roman Catholic Church priest, and he goes, I refuse to argue with that monk. He storms off because Martin Luther destroyed him, because he keeps referencing, you know, the source material. Everything, by the way, in a religious debate is sola scriptura, by the way, in case you didn't know, which means it doesn't matter what Pope said what, doesn't matter what Guru said what is established. It's, what does the actual doctrine say? This priestly class, in the case of Martin Luther and countless other religions, you need to come to me to have the interpretations. The same way, even very, very intelligent people, you notice I said intelligent, not wise, very, very intelligent people, they'll get like a legal form in the mail or something. Hope you don't get one. It's like, I don't know what this says. Don't you speak 6 languages and you've got postgraduate degree from Harvard? Yes, I do, but I can't make this up. Well, why can't you? Because it's in legalese. I don't know what it says. I'm going to have to hire a lawyer. This is the offspringing from that study of what is so blatantly obvious. To some of you, it might be blatantly obvious. It said, let me read this again, the so-called magic spell hypothesis is what they called it. It's kind of brilliant, very accurate. Basically just means the creation of a priestly class for interpretation. Just as magic spells are written with distinctive style that sets them apart from everyday language, the convoluted style of legal language appears to signal the special kind of authority. Respect my authority. It's the creation of a priestly class. This, definitionally, look into my eye, is evil. The same priestly class exists in every religion. It exists in the realm of law. And it 100% exists in academia regarding quantum mechanics. There's no such thing as quantum. It is a convoluted language built up around natural order and physics so that you have to pay for books and lectures by these people. They want power and they want control, and definitionally they are evil. There should never ever be a degree of separation between your desire to know and the truth itself. Never. But there always is, and this of course unfortunately is a huge attribute of the misery of humanity. This is an important video whether you agree or not. Knowing this fact is incredibly important. I'll catch you in live stream. I hope you like this video. If you ever want to contact me, my information is in the description below. Any donations are always warmly welcome. Lux e veritas. I've been debating these people for decades. They despise me because I am way more intelligent than them. I know the language that they use. I am more familiar with the language that they use to purposely confuse people than they themselves are with the language that they're using to try to confuse people. I don't care if somebody hates me or not. It's like, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. They can't. They just say, so I'm not going to argue with you. When someone says that, it means you defeated me. But they are so egomaniacal, they refuse to admit that. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not here to argue with you. Oh, you mean I won? You have nothing intelligent to say, and you admit that I won. No, I'm just not going to argue with you. No, it's not that you're not going to. It's because you can't. Because intellectually you have been deflated, like popping a balloon. The balloon, of course, in their case, was just filled with flatulence to begin with. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely day.